All right, I call the July 25th, 2022 Bremerton Audit Committee meeting to order. First thing we got under 2A is approval of the June 27th, 2022 meeting minutes. Did anybody not get a chance to read them, and are there any corrections? All right, seeing and hearing none, I call the minutes approved as presented. Next up is 2B, which is the proposed 2023 budget for the auditor. So as I'm learning here, just going through my first budget cycle, and Quinn and Debbie are probably the experts. But generally what happens is that department heads kind of take the budget from last year, do some tweaks based on any changes. That all gets submitted to the mayor. The mayor compiles all those requests, makes some tough decisions. That then goes to city council where it gets debated, more changes are made, and then eventually passed. So we're at the very first part where the city auditor as a department is submitting the budget request to the mayor alongside the other department heads. And so in the packet, you kind of see a summary of what was accomplished last year, what is proposed to be accomplished for the coming fiscal year, and kind of a little quad chart that ends up in the big city budget handbook. And then there's a little Excel sheet with the past year budget items and going forward. I don't think there's no real big changes from the previous year, but if there's anything you wanted to highlight, Jenny, go for it. Or if there's any questions, folks can speak up.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. I mean, I think it's pretty mundane. I was commenting to Jeff earlier that it's not exciting like the public works budget, which always gets a lot of debate. And I mean, they have a lot of great projects that they talk about. So we're just kind of status quo.
I was going to just say that I think we're a bargain.
We are.
So that's all.
Absolutely. Perfect. Max or Quinn, any comments or questions?
Nope. Christine had a. There you go.
Yeah, Christine.
Okay. Hey, as staff, I just wanted to add that quad sheet that you referred to, there is an opportunity for staff to update that before the workshops that are going to be held by council later. So if Jenny completes any projects that aren't listed on there, we have an opportunity to kind of give one last update.
Great.
Just wanted to throw that out. Thank you.
That's good to know. Or if we, I don't anticipate us changing the work plan again, but if we were to come up with a different priority, then we can highlight that as well for 2023. Okay. That's great to know.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, if there's no other questions or comments, I believe we need to formally take a vote and approve this, just to have it on the book. So is somebody willing to make a motion to approve the proposed budget as presented?
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second that.
All right, all those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? None opposed. All right, passes unanimously. Thanks everybody, and thanks Jenny and Christine for working on that. Got to make sure Jenny gets paid. All right, that brings us to briefings and updates. And Jenny, the floor is yours to talk about the ongoing Gold Mountain Golf Pro Shop inventory draft report that you sent out.
Okay. Did everyone have a chance to look at it? I'm sorry for the late delivery, but try to get as much done before I send it along. Did everyone look at it?
I did, and I had just a comment and then a correction, and I'll have to switch screens to offer up the correction. My comment is, this seems eerily familiar to a report that you did a couple years ago, where it seems like the same issues with inventory controls and cash controls. Am I making that up? Have I misremembered? It just seemed like they still have the same old problems.
No, I haven't done a review of their inventory. This is the first time that I've done a report
maybe
on the inventory controls. And the cash, this was a totally new issue.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
so I'm just misremembering then, never mind.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it's
then-
possible because you've been on the committee long enough that it may have been addressed by a former auditor, but not me.
Yeah, I wondered, Christine, do you remember, did Gary do a report on that you recall?
I don't recall. I think it was looking at cash receipting and controls on that. It was not inventory.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, again, inventory was something that I think he was pondering, but we did not go there.
never went there, okay.
Okay, good worth a check though, because yeah, if there had been a previous report and nothing changed from, years ago, then that would certainly be something to highlight, I'd imagine, but.
That was kind of where I was going with that, yeah, and I may be completely wrong and have just made that up for no apparent reason.
I don't think there was, because I think that we
Yeah, okay,
looked to see if work has been done on this, just to see what else has already been done. And
right.
I don't recall seeing anything. Is that your
Okay.
recollection, Christine? I mean, I think we dug around for it.
Yeah, I think the only other thing we looked at previously was equipment. That didn't
Okay.
fall into this umbrella.
Never mind. So my correction, and it's minor, but on page 2, item 1C, I think you mean to say management should make adjustments and or require a 2-person approval process. It just says management should adjustments.
Oh, yeah, I'll
There's
fix
a-
that. Yeah, thanks
There's
for
a
catching
verb
that.
missing. Yeah, no worries.
Oh, I think it's supposed to be approve adjustments.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure. So yeah,
Yeah, thanks for catching that. And this is still being worked on, so I have some.
right.
I
right.
have some holes that I still need to fill in, very few at this point because I've continued editing today. But I
Okay.
am going to definitely wait to have feedback from Mike Riley, and I was unable to get a hold of him today, although I did send him the report.
Okay.
But he always has good insight.
Yeah.
Is there
I
anything you want
know.
to highlight, Jenny, or kind of call to attention? I don't know if there's any big takeaways. You and I talked about it the other day, but.
Yeah, I would just say that even though there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of findings. It's not like I think there's a big problem over there, just tighten things up, folks. And otherwise, I think they're doing a good job. And even though, again, there's a lot of, segregation of duty issues and whatnot, they are very profitable. The inventory is a very small piece of their business. So I hate to, have people get too excited over it and think that, oh my gosh, what's going on? Although, the oversight issue, maybe it does highlight that we could be, and maybe the oversight is just audit needs to be over there more often. We do looking at things, if that's the way that they want to do the oversight, then that would be for people to decide.
Well, I gotta say, someone taking $1,300 in cash home with no documentation, it was just word of mouth, struck me as really poor procedure. I was shocked by that.
Yeah, he is new in his role. He's not new to, he's not a new employee. He just got promoted. So, he's maybe still figuring things out, but yeah, that, and that's kind of to the written procedures. If you have written procedures, then, people know what they're supposed to be doing and don't make dumb mistakes like that. I shouldn't say dumb, but
I guess I worked retail for a long time and restaurant and bars for even longer. And I know of no place where that's appropriate ever. So for somebody to even think that was okay really bugged me.
yeah.
So I think
I think he ended up. Go ahead.
yeah, it showed really bad judgment.
I think he ended up having it there for 2 nights too.
Yeah, that's just really,
I told him, I
really
said,
bad judgment.
I mean, my eyes popped out of my head when
Yeah,
he said,
yeah,
because he initially said, oh, because I was, they were getting the money out of the safe, and he says, oh, by the way, $1,300 is in transit. And I said, well, what does that mean? He says, well,
Yeah.
we're getting change from the bank. I said, oh, okay, duly noted. And so it took us, I don't know, I think over 2 hours to count all the money, because you have to go through so much. So as we're kind of getting to the end, I said, I'm thinking that someone ran to the bank to get change and that they're going to be
Right.
back. And I said, oh, about that $1,300 is, it seems like they should be here about now. And he says, oh, well, actually, it's at my house. And I said, boy, I would hate to be in your chair. I said, I would hate to be sitting there having to tell an auditor that I took $1,300 home. It just doesn't sound good, even no matter how innocent it was. So anyway.
It's a huge red flag to me. So I'll shut up now, but it just, like I said, there's no retail planet that I know of where that's okay or considered good judgment, or most stores I've worked in, I would not have a job if I had done that. Never mind keep it at home for 2 nights. So anyway, I'll shut up.
No, definitely a good finding to highlight. I mean, it shows the value of doing these periodic audits. And I think, Jenny, did you confirm that money came back, or did you just tap the manager on the shoulder about it? I can't remember.
Well, they told me it came back. I didn't go.
Oh, okay.
We would have to recount all the money. I mean, I think that, the general manager over there, Daryl, he seems like a really good person. I can't imagine that he would have let that go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to see if we had independently verified, but okay, good. Max, any comments or concerns or questions on here?
No, I think people covered the point that I was gonna raise. That was the only topic of interest that I kind of saw over a brief scan. I didn't have time to read the whole report, but it is a really good report. I appreciate how in depth it is, and I'm just curious, as far as kind of the tone at the top, can you share a little bit about how management runs the shop there? A lot of the times when employees, in my experience, are a little bit loose with internal controls, it stems from a culture of getting the okay on the side to kind of move in that direction. So I'm just curious what your opinion on that is.
Yeah, that's a really good question, Max. I would say again that, the top would be Daryl Matheny, and he is an extremely likable person. He seems like a very honest, down-to-earth person. But I'm not sure what his background is. I think it's more, a lot of these guys just are good golfers that get moved up, a good golfer, and they want to work in their field. And I don't know. He is PGA. I don't know if that means he has like an actual degree in golf management. I don't know one way or the other. But anyway, I just don't know. I know that when we had a former vendor out there running it, it was before my time, Scott Alexander, that he was really great on the golf end, but not so great on the systems end, financial systems. So that's why we moved towards Columbia Hospitality, because they had that expertise. But Daryl moved up through the ranks. He was with Scott Alexander. So I would say that his forte is on the golf end. I think he's competent as a manager, but I don't, management isn't always well-versed in internal controls, and they don't, the fact that they don't have written procedures, or, everyone's kind of winging it, I guess.
And these folks, they're not city employees, right? These are contractors essentially.
Right, we hired Columbia Hospitality. They submitted a bid and they won the bidding process. So they are our vendor. They've been our vendor for 10 years, maybe longer. I think a little longer. They do the golf course and the conference center.
Does the city or the county or anybody that you're aware of have any sort of like video about, you know, best practices for cash management, or, you know, something that maybe we can just point them to peruse, you know, rather than or read a big textbook. But I know at Expedia, what we do is, you know, we go through annual trainings, which are pretty quick. You know, they're 30-45 minutes on just broad topics, and not anything too cumbersome. But just curious if the city has anything like that we could just offer them to look at.
I think that the state auditor's office has some resources. So we could offer that up.
Yeah, might be a good idea to share.
Mhm,
Great suggestion, Max.
mhm.
Yeah, I guess Christine, do you know, I'm guessing the city HR doesn't interface with them at all. We don't know what kind of standard trainings they might have. Yeah.
I was going to try and go into the system and see what's available for financial training.
Oh, I lost your audio there for a second.
Oh, I was going to see what HR might have available to city employees, but I'm not clear on what they do.
Mhm.
Okay, I think I got you there. Yeah. I was kind of thinking like we've had to do a bunch of, you know, required trainings as technically city employees, and there's something similar. But
I had one other comment, which was about the non-working camera.
Mhm.
What did you, and forgive me for not remembering, and I don't have the report right in front of me. Did you recommend that be fixed? Because that was another kind of, oh yeah, gee, it's not working.
Yeah, when I talked to the merchandiser about it the other day, when I was following up on some outstanding questions, she retracted a little bit. So initially she told me it was non-operational.
Mhm.
And then the other day she said, oh, well, I wouldn't know one way or the other. So
Mhm.
I toned it back a little bit. I may have made that change after I sent the report out today. I don't remember. But
Well, again, that's another red flag to me, that, you know, that's another huge security hole. So somebody can walk off site with $1,300 and nobody else knows. So they could, you know, that's a short-term loan after 2 days in my books. And then the camera may or may not work and the merchandiser doesn't know. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm being alarmist, but
I didn't think it was a red flag. I just thought it was something that needs to be fixed. You know?
yeah.
I mean,
And they
it
should
could be-
know
could
if
be a
it
red
works.
flag. Go ahead.
They should know if it works, right? There should be no question about whether or not a security camera works.
Well, I could ask more people maybe, and you know,
Yeah.
I just felt like, you know, she says she's not sure, so make sure. So now the report says make sure that all the cameras are working. And
Right.
the problem with that
Okay.
camera is that, you know, again, I'm not sure if this was in the report that I sent out today because I continued editing, but a lot of people have keys to that room, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of stock in there, you know.
Mhm.
So the employees would know if the camera's operational, and so they can go in there, like if you're the opener or the closer, the first person in or the last person out, you have keys to the room and the camera's not working. It's really not a good scenario.
You take my point. That's exactly why it was a red flag. You know, I kind of put that with somebody walking away with a bunch of money, and it just didn't add up to good controls.
Yeah.
So
can I ask, is there, do major companies have procedures in place to say periodically pull security camera footage? Not wait till there's an incident where it's needed, but just like once a year, test and make sure that you can retrieve it. And I think of at work, we used to do that with backups. Like you can say your data is backed up because it's periodically backing up, but you don't really know until you say, let me just test and grab a couple files and make
That's
sure.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
I don't know if Max or Jenny or Quinn, if anybody's seen that as standard procedure for security cameras.
I haven't seen that for security cameras, but I have heard of that as a best practice. And it's specifically a lot of that comes into play with fail-safe controls. So if you're saving footage, in multiple places, you have a process to record it over at once a quarter or so, or once a year, and therefore then when you copy it over, you would notice it then.
That makes sense. So Jenny, is that something worth considering recommending on top of just pointing out that the camera is non-functional? I don't know how often in your reports you tend to either just point out something's not right, or versus give specific recommendations on what they could do to fix it.
I could make that recommendation. I'm not sure what the cost of it is. Is it something that's expensive or labor intensive or anything? Again, I have no problem adding it. I try to avoid adding things that are, because I don't know anything about it. So that's why I'm asking, not that I'm questioning it. It's when I was looking at inventory shrinkage today, I was thinking, okay, well, so I have a 3-month period, and I don't think this made it to the report. And there's, I have inventory count sheets that show that the inventory shrinkage for those 3 months was $7,500. So I don't know if that's the shrinkage for the whole year. It doesn't include all the inventory, but probably has most of the inventory, but it doesn't have the balls in there, I don't think, which I think they end up having quite a bit of shortages with the balls. So anyway, when I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking, okay, $7,500. Now, do I look at that in terms of it's a $6 million revenue operation, or do I look at it in terms of they have $200,000 of inventory?
That one.
In terms of how significant it is, or do I look at it in terms of the $500,000 of sale? There's a lot of different ways to look at it. So I'm getting a little bit off track, but the point that I'm trying to raise, okay, is I don't know how costly what you're talking about or labor intensive. So I kind of want to know that a little bit, I think, because let's say that they have shrinkage in a total of $15,000 a year. I don't know what the number is because I don't have all the data. They can't run the data, and you'll see that in the final report. Their system, they couldn't generate what the inventory shrinkage is. So to me, that's not good, because that means no one's really keeping an eye on it. And you should be knowing, is it going up? Is it significant? If you don't know that, if you can't run a report of the dollar value, well, you have to come up with an alternate way of generating that data. Anyway, so does anyone have an idea if it's if what you're suggesting is an expensive or labor intensive endeavor?
I'd imagine it'd be I imagine it shouldn't take more than 10 minutes of someone's time to pull footage off a security camera. Even if it's a really older system that's all recorded locally, usually there's just a computer hooked up top to it, and you could, let me go back a couple hours and view something. And especially the more modern system should be really easy to pull up clips. So I think it's pretty quick and easy. It's just a check of, hey, once a year, make sure that the cameras are working and you can pull security footage off them.
I would think you'd want to do it once a quarter personally,
For sure.
because
Okay.
if you do it in January and it breaks in March, you don't know until the next January.
Okay, I misunderstood. I thought that you were suggesting that you periodically look at footage to see if there were any shenanigans going on.
No, sorry.
No,
And I was thinking that sounded pretty labor intensive.
You agreed. No, yeah,
Okay.
just to make sure the system is working and that you you
Okay.
could pull footage off if you suddenly looked and there were 12 golf bags missing, you know, the next day.
Exactly, exactly. You could
yeah,
easily, then you could correlate it to if they had a way of knowing when the shrinkage occurred, they could look at, you know, first place I'd look is who was working that day. Honestly, because a lot of shrink in retail occurs from inside the system, not from customers.
right.
And also, Jenny, as far as is the shrink against total operations or their inventory, when I worked retail, it was always against your inventory number.
Yeah. Well, that's
So,
what I-
and it's expressed in like terms, whether it's cost to buy, and you know, you take it out that way, or is it retail to retail, but it's, you know, inflate it or deflate it one
Yeah.
way or the other.
I
Right.
agree. And that number would be about 3.2%. If the 7,500 was the whole
Was
enchilada, but
annual.
but it's
Yeah.
not, you know, so
Okay.
I don't know that I don't know that I'm gonna put the 3.2% out there.
Yeah.
I did see the National Retail Federation, I think it's called.
Mhm.
They have a number of 1.62%,
Hmm.
theirs was at retail. I don't think it should really
Yeah,
matter. too
and
much.
that's a huge organization that covers a lot of different kinds of businesses. I would look to see if you could find a golf pro shop standard somewhere, because like I worked in bicycles and climbing equipment and recreational equipment, and that's some very high-end goods, right? And so our percentages when they were not good were way higher than 1.3. We strove for around 2% at REI. But anything over 3 got management attention, big time.
Okay.
Could
So-
I ask a question? So for the cash flows around here, how does this work? So do they pay a rent or a fee to the city to operate, and or is the city on the hook for the shrinkage, or you know, if there's potential losses?
The city,
Good point.
we pay Columbia Hospitality to manage the
I see.
facility. So, and they have an incentive fee that they get, and they have a base management fee that they get. So part of theirs is based on profits. So there is some incentive to have good profits. And then they also have a base management fee. They get a lot. They have, I looked at it for 2021. I forget if it was $500,000 or $600,000 they got. It's a lot of money.
And
Yeah.
their revenues, or the one, you know, the funds they collect from customers, is it on a monthly basis, or how does that work? Do people pay a subscription to use the golf course?
No, well, okay, so again, those would be our revenues. So it's our revenues, our expenses, it's their employees, just trying to clarify that. But there are a lot of people that come and just pay for their round of golf that day. And then you can also buy memberships. And there's various kinds. So you can have a Monday through Thursday membership, or you can have a any time of the day membership, or I mean, there's just a variety like other golf courses.
Are they in charge of kind of the accounts receivable aging, you know, as far as if a customer is not paying for those memberships, would they
There
go-
isn't anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, there isn't a receivable, I don't think. I mean, yeah, the golf membership is something to the tune of $2,000. You know, I don't know the exact number, but it might be a little higher, a little lower. But you know, people pay that. They put it on their credit card or whatever.
Got it. Okay.
And then the golf course does certain accounting functions there. And then Columbia Hospitality has corporate offices, like where the accounts payables get processed. So I didn't put all of that in this report.
That's because this is focused mostly on purely the pro shop portion, right? Yeah. So if we
Right.
wanted to do another audit, we could do an audit on other parts of the golf course.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Okay. Okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
But good questions. I didn't even
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, if you would like, because we always, I don't know if you saw the last page, it's a list of exhibits and it's pretty blank right now. But we incorporate the various records that we reviewed to develop the report. And then it'll be hyperlinked to the actual document. So one thing we could do I mean, a lot of people don't read our reports, but for those who do, it might be helpful if they had a copy of the contract, because then they could have all of those types of questions answered. So, I mean, that way they.
Yeah, it would provide the requisite background, I think,
Uh-huh.
without you having to rewrite it all.
Right. Yeah, I try to give enough information. I mean, already it's
Yep.
11 pages. So.
yeah, that'd be great, because I know council, we just got a briefing the other night on an update they're planning to the course, and other questions have come up in various committees about the golf course and budget ideas. So yeah, that would be actually very timely if those links were in the appendix.
Yep.
Or exhibit, sorry.
Okay.
And also just curious, I mean, this probably isn't with the scope of the pro shop, but you know, from an insurance angle, if somebody gets injured on the golf course, is that the city's on the hook, or does the contractor have an insurance policy against that?
I'm not going to have a complete answer for you, but I know that I'm 99% sure that the management agreement requires CHI Columbia Hospitality to carry its own liability insurance, and then the city has all the property insurance. I expect we would have liability insurance also for ourselves out there, but that piece I don't really know for sure.
Sure.
I know we require our vendors to carry insurance.
Okay.
Any other comments, questions, Max? Oh, good one, really good ones. Quinn, any comments?
Nope. Yeah, I'm glad that the $1,300 issue was kind of flagged. That from a legal standpoint also kind of raised some red flags for me. But other than that, no. I really appreciate the tables and the graphs. I think that's just really helpful for somebody who's a non-accountant to really digest. I know I've given you that feedback before, but I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Deborah, any other thoughts?
No, except that I remembered that the thing that was so familiar to me was the detail about the number of entry points into the pro shop. That was what made me go, have I read this before?
Yeah, I remembered seeing it before too, and I couldn't remember. And I was wishing I had that other report. I don't remember where I saw that.
I bet money it was a prior audit that Gary did.
I don't
Christ-
think it was. I think it was
yeah, I
something
just-
else.
Or was it? It wasn't when we renegotiated the CHI contract, was it?
I don't think so. I was wondering if there was a document produced after that theft that occurred out there a few years ago. All the clubs were stolen. I don't recall if a report came
Oh,
out of that.
I think so. Maybe that's where so much of this sounded so familiar. I think you're right.
Because the cameras, I remember reading that the cameras were of poor quality. And so
Yep.
you couldn't make out the perpetrators.
Yep.
And I think since then they've installed fancier cameras.
Oh, Christine found a prior report. Let's take a quick look. Thank you, Christine.
Is this from
You did.
Gary?
Did you put it in the chat, Christine?
Oh,
No, she sent it via email.
Oh, no, okay.
you guys, I'm sorry. I have a loved one in the hospital and they're calling. Can I just check out for a second?
Oh,
You
please,
guys
please.
Absolutely.
Carry
Yeah,
on.
of course, Jenny, go for it.
Yeah, this was from 2020.
Oh,
Management
yeah.
agreement,
Okay.
financial ops, charity,
That
debt
report we're looking
service.
for, but I recall the items that you are asking about, and I'm not sure it's might have been a memo and not a report.
Yeah,
I've emailed it. I can try and drop it in the chat.
I don't see anything about what we were talking about, though some of the questions being asked about structure and who pays for what are in here.
It seems this would be good to at least reference if Christine, you're
Yeah,
able to.
this was the,
I just let them know that I'm gonna be-
yeah, okay.
Report.
I'm gonna be, 5, maybe 10 minutes max, I think. So I'll be back.
Okay, that's fine, Jenny. We can do the other items and circle back to this. Maybe.
Yep,
So I was gonna suggest maybe just to take an action item. Well, so maybe to reference this report and then just double check if there is any other report, kind of like Deborah's describing, or that something that theft incident was probably documented. And maybe we could link both of these to the current audit report.
yeah, because I distinctly remember that was what set the memory bells going, was the discussion of the 3 different entrances.
Yeah, that makes sense for the potential theft. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which case that'd be great to link to it. Especially then you can see if there was any recommendations of that report that weren't enacted yet.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, and Max, some of your questions about who pays for what are in the report that Christine just sent, so you'll see that there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I think we can table this and come back to it in a few minutes when Jenny's
Mhm.
back. But when I talked to her last week, I think she was basically going to finish this and send it out. And so let me ask her when she comes back. But one consideration is that we could approve the report, kind of basically say it looks good, let her do the finishing touches, then send it out. Or we could do a contingent and she can email it to everybody. And Christine, I believe we can just agree if there's no comments by email a week after she sends it out, then it's good to go. Is that fine by your understanding of procedures?
Yes, you're basically approving the report. I guess it's contingent on any final
Sounds good. Man,
information.
sorry, your mic is really like in and out.
Oh,
I don't know, might just be
sorry.
getting closer helps. Yeah. So. But okay, we can continue. All right. I think she was really close. So it's that or wait a month. And I guess we'll talk about it in a second, but potentially if we do skip a month here, just don't want her delayed on it. So why don't we go down through items 4 and then we'll circle back to 3A here. So for the work plan, I just all sent that out to council. You all have a copy in here. I don't think we need to touch base on it. There's no updates. I think Jenny's ready to launch right into the 2 budget items that are already approved.
Great.
So if there's any questions or comments on it, throw your hand up. Otherwise, we can revisit it in a future meeting. All right, seeing none. For 4B, the volunteer position, gosh, still nothing to come up, right, Christine? No new applications in the past week. Okay. Yeah, I mentioned to council to keep reaching out. Kind of running out of ideas on things to do. We contacted, I believe it was your suggestion, Max, to contact the community college. I think I sent off 2 different emails. Christine, I know, did as well. And I never heard back. And Christine, did you ever hear anything back from Olympic? No, okay.
Usually things pick up after school starts up again.
I was just going to
point.
say, it is summertime and a lot of people don't pick up new responsibilities in the summer. So
I've been out of school too long, taking it
I
for
know, right?
man, now I'm now feeling older. Of course, no school in summer. All right,
Yeah.
good call.
Christine, I was going to ask, did Jennifer ever get you the tabling sheet from Juneteenth? Because I know there were people that were interested in committees other than REAC. So I don't know if that sheet made its way to you yet.
And the notations I were given were for REAC only, but I'm happy
Okay.
to follow up again just to be sure on that.
Okay, I know we were like pushing, like, it doesn't have to be REAC. There's lots of other boards
Mhm.
and commissions, but okay.
That'd be good. No, good to double check because, yeah, good call. Any other ideas people have that come to mind of things we hadn't talked about before or folks to reach out to? I'm about to reach into like my personal network and just start poking some people who I think might be good, but I kinda
Max,
wanna
do you
resist
have
doing that.
any insights? Are there any like local auditor organizations or anything?
Yeah, I mean, there's the Washington kind of Audit Association, or
Yeah.
forget the acronym, but it's not very active, I would say.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, well, we'll keep posting. Just said, what if I want to, you know, find the right citizen, but yeah, it'd be nice to get that filled. I think we'll find somebody before the end of the year, though. Hopefully.
We can
All
hope.
right. Yeah. I don't have anything for other matters unless anybody else has anything they wanted to bring up.
I was just going to ask one question. This is probably my ignorance being a civil rights attorney, but is there ever any work between like auditors and attorneys? I'm assuming once, you know, there is like fraud allegations, because I'd be happy to send it out to the Kitsap Bar Association and get some local folks that might be in kind of fraud work as attorneys, but I'm not sure how much overlap there is with work that auditors and accountants do along with financial attorneys. That's like my last kind of network I was thinking of tapping into.
I think it would bring an interesting perspective to the committee to have another attorney and B, someone with that particular background.
Okay.
I don't think we've never, I mean, I'm trying to think. I think Quinn's the first attorney we've had since I've been on the committee.
Okay.
So, yeah, that couldn't hurt. I mean, in the past, it's been, when I joined, the other citizen member was one of the local, I used to call them busybodies. Back in the day when we had live council meetings, I think he was at every council meeting type person.
Yeah.
Not exactly an activist, but pretty close. So, yeah. And I'm kind of surprised that nobody from that contingent has raised their hand. So.
Well,
I'd say definitely, but I'd say reach out, Quinn. Yeah, I found your experience extremely valuable on council with all the different legal matters we run into. So
yeah,
I'm imaginable here.
not so much on this committee though. I feel like I'm like,
No.
the report's great. I hate numbers. Thank you. But yeah, I'll send it out. I can send it out to the network and see
Sounds
what we
good.
get at least. Thanks.
Well, and people who are familiar with fraud might have more of a bent that way too, right?
Yeah.
So even and particularly forensic accounting, forensic fraud kind of stuff.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's
Overlap.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They may have good recommendations on ways to prevent that. Yeah, if there's any loose ends.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, any other matters? I think the next thing
We're
is.
having-
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, are we having a meeting in August? That's kind of our next
Yeah.
thing is when's our next meeting?
So it's scheduled for August 22nd, but I wanted to tag up again and see if folks were going to be around or not. Said at this
Calendar.
pace, we could skip a meeting if we need. I think if everyone's here, we can meet. And if it's brief, then great. But is everybody's calendar still open for the 22nd?
Yep.
I think you were on the email that Christine sent, but I'll be gone that day, Jeff.
Oh, okay, thank you. And then, sorry, I'm flipping screen, so I can't see your face, Max, but are you around the 22nd?
Yeah, I'm around.
Okay. So let's see, I'd say let's plan on still holding the committee that day.
Okay.
And then, well, actually, Christine, without Quinn, we're at a quorum, right? Because we got 2 of 4. We're still okay. All right. Sorry, 3 of 4. God, three of.
Yeah, count yourself.
Thank you. Numbers are hard late on a Monday.
They
All
are
right.
hard. Math is
Yeah.
hard,
Three of-
especially for astrophysicists, right?
yeah, we don't ever use numbers ever.
No.
Only really big ones. The tiny numbers cause the problem. The big
I
ones
was
are the
gonna
problem.
say, you're in the theoretical realm, not the,
Anything
not
less than 10
the
to 10, you know,
two-
count me out.
2 + 2 = 4, yeah.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, we'll just wait for
Okay.
Danny to come back, and then
Yeah,
just give her a few minutes. And then if she's if it looks like she can be tied up for a while, then we can adjourn. Perfect. Good. And can't remember if I said a last meeting or not, but definitely got some kudos from the other council members on audit committee's work, and I think they appreciate
Okay.
seeing the work plan. So thanks for everybody going through that.
great.
So I'm really curious, Quinn, as we take a break here, what's the rest of your shirt say? I just see knowledge. Oh, Schoolhouse Rock. Nice.
Right,
Knowledge is power, obviously.
yes.
And I will take this moment to just show off the newest member of the Barry Dennehy household, because I think he's really adorable.
Hi, buddy.
Hi, Nairo. Say hi, buddy.
Oh, all tuckered out, huh?
Yeah, he's just found his little spot in the basement. We're all hiding from the heat right now, but he's 2
It's
weeks.
not even that hot today, guys.
87. It's 87. It's gonna be like 95 tomorrow. I'm not ready.
I know, that's hot.
Yeah.
80s, we can manage, especially it got so cool last night.
Yeah, anything over 85, and I retreat.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that. She's back. Hi,
Hey,
Jenny.
Jenny.
Sorry, you guys.
Good.
It's okay.
No,
Everything's
you're fine. Yeah. We just went through the rest of items 4, and no big updates there. I think we'll aim for an August meeting. Quinn will be out, but it sounds like everyone else is around.
Okay. I don't know if there were any additional questions or comments on the report. And then the other question I have, in addition to that, is what you want me to do with it, whether you want it to come back to committee, or like Jeff and I had talked, if we think it's substantially complete, I could just run it by Jeff or Max, or or a combination of people, however you want to do it. But I didn't know that we're going to have an August meeting. I do hate to hold it up for that long, because Christine still has to do a lot of things on her end after it gets approved. And so.
I have a quick question for the final. So when you say that the report goes to the committee, is this something that becomes essentially public record that
It's a
everybody-
public record right now because I presented it to the committee.
Sure,
Yep.
but in terms of more widely distributed, if somebody wanted, rather than requesting it, but is it going to be published on like a city website or?
Yes, it will be. Yeah, so it will be, I don't know what I have on my CC right now, but it will definitely be going to city council, the mayor, Parks Department because they're referenced in here, and Finance because obviously they'll have an interest in this. And then I don't know, Jeff, I suppose that you would be presenting it at a council meeting or?
Yeah, I'll probably plan on summarizing it, or at least draw attention to folks to read it.
Okay.
And then probably worth mentioning too, that all of them are on the, trying to find the right link. Oh, here we go. So Max, if you just basically Google Bremerton City Auditor, there's a web page and it has Jennifer's name there. And on the top left is a link to audit reports. So then all the past reports going back to 2018 are readily available, and then the rest can be, I think, requested.
Got it. Okay, cool.
And Jenny, we had talked about you getting it substantively complete and then emailing it to us, and we'll approve via email. I think we all agreed that there's no need to hold it up for another month plus.
Okay,
You know,
I
we
like that
can-
idea. So everyone
we
will
can-
have the chance to comment on it. And plus it will give you more time for those of you who didn't have a chance to review it today in as much detail as you wanted to, then it would have give you that opportunity as well. So.
Yep.
Okay.
Awesome.
See. Oh, Christine, yeah.
Jump in just to be careful when you're emailing so we avoid any rolling quorums.
All right. So
Yes.
when you reply to me, just reply to me rather than reply to all.
Right.
Perfect. Yes. Good call.
Except if it's to say we accept it as presented, right? Or how do we do that?
Christine?
Thought earlier, the understanding was you could have that action on the floor tonight. And it's contingent upon, any final comments. That way you don't have to do any action over
Yeah.
email and run the risk of rolling.
Okay, got it.
So if you have any comments, send them to Jenny. Reply directly to Jenny with any comments. If there's anything, if let's say there's anything that goes, whoa, this is new in the final report, I want to bring this up again in a full meeting in August, then let me know and we'll put it on the agenda.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
if there's too many changes and something makes you uncomfortable, or I missed something, or maybe just something comes up that you hear about in the news, or you remember something from another report and you want to share that and make sure it gets into the report. Of course, you can, if something comes up that you think needs to be added, you can always contact me directly, and I can add it. I am going to be on vacation starting this Wednesday through next week. But other than that, you can contact me anytime.
Okay. Sounds like, is everybody in agreement with that plan? That we all approving it now, contingent on nobody having any objections later on or sending small corrections or typos. Okay.
Yeah.
So do we
All right.
need a motion to approve?
Well, I don't think we should approve it if I'm still making. I liked the other plan where, I don't know. I'm sorry, maybe I don't.
Christina, think I'm good to just say that we have unanimous consent to follow
Yes.
that plan. Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
There you go.
So
Perfect.
formally declare
Okay,
I
good.
see unanimous consent to go ahead and preliminarily approve the draft contingent upon Jenny sending the final draft in an email to everybody and having a week to be able to weigh in on it.
Perfect.
All right, perfect. And the only other thing, Jenny, that I think right after you left, we mentioned was, linking the 2020 report that Christine just emailed out. And then if you do want to look to see if there was an incident report for that theft that was mentioned, maybe linking those findings as well in this report would be useful for folks. Assuming that does exist, and that's what Deborah was thinking about with the entry and exit points.
It was in print somewhere.
I'm cross-checking. So,
Perfect. I assume you'll take an action time to look at that.
Yeah, thank you, Christine.
What was
All
the
right, perfect.
2022 report that Christine sent?
No, 2020.
2020.
It was your overall audit report when we renewed the contract
Okay.
with Gold Mountain
Okay,
or with CHI.
All right, great. Any last other matters?
I'm happy to put in a request, just to pencil it in that you for your next committee chair report at a study session, we could have you and presentation like we've done with other committees, assuming the report's ready. And then if it's not, it can punt to a later study session. But we try to track those things, for
that'd be-
agendas.
Yes, so this Wednesday, I'll just report that we met today and discuss the report. I won't mention anything about it, but then 2 weeks from then, you're right, I could. if
It
the
could
final report's
hypothetically
out,
land there.
Yeah, then I could brief it. Okay.
Just
That's a
remember
great
that
idea, Christine.
I'm gonna be gone all of next week and I'm only working one more day this week, just.
Yeah.
Okay.
Timing wise, I'm not sure how it will work out.
So
Oh,
is
you
that up
maybe
by
want to
then?
go 2 weeks out.
Yeah,
I
I'll
don't
wait.
know.
Let's wait till it's approved, whenever Jenny sends it out, a week goes by, and in theory, if it's approved, then whatever the following study session is, I can plan on briefing it
There you
then.
go.
Perfect. All right, thanks, Christine. All right, if nothing else, I'll call the meeting to adjournment. Just shy of the hour. Thank you all so much for everything. Much appreciated. Hope
Thank you,
stay cool.
everybody.
Stay
Good
cool,
seeing all
everyone.
of you.
Yeah,
Hey, have a good night.
Stay cool, baby.
night all.
Bye.